that like, hit that subscribe. Here's the thing with Mitch Williams and Tom Arnone. Let's go. What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about? Welcome in, everybody, to Here's the Thing with Mitch Williams and Tom Arnone. And we are brought to you by Royal Billiard. Check out Royal Billiards and Recreation, the coolest place for all your game room and man cave needs. For the last 41 years, this family-owned business has been the premier game room store of the Delaware Valley, stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bars, bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, did we mention hot tubs too? Stop by Royal Billiard, located 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or on the web, royalbilliard.com for everything fun for your home or office. So go check out our good friends, royalbilliard.com. As always, we'll have a catch with Mitch at the end of the show. We'll look ahead at what's coming up for the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, a doubleheader today against the Atlanta Braves. Probably not a team you ever want to play a doubleheader against. But we got the Atlanta Braves with two today, so we'll talk about what's ahead for the Philadelphia Phillies. Has Rob Thomson's magic gone away? Has it gone away? We'll talk about that in the second part of our show. Phillies lose their series to the Marlins. They lose 2 out of 3. They blow 2 games in this series, and it ties right into our poll question, brought to you by hats.com. I'm wearing one of their hats right now, and you can use code Philly for 15% off your order at hats.com. I'm telling you, go check them out. They designed Brian Dawkins' legendary Pro Football Hall of Fame hat. Okay, so you can go check out that one. It's a phenomenal fedora, and they got regular hats just like this one. So whatever you want, hats.com's got you covered. So use code Philly for 15% off your order at hats.com. To our poll question for this afternoon show. Despite being a strength for most of the season, the Phillies bullpen has now become the team's biggest concern. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation. Me and Mitch, we read off everything. So we want you to be a part of the conversation this afternoon. Mitch, I always start with you. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think down the road, their bullpen's going to be one of their strengths, especially come the postseason. They kind of struggled a little bit here lately, but for the most of the year, that bullpen has done nothing but carry this team. So they're going through a little bit of downtime right now. I don't see a big worry about it. I think Soto and Kimbrel on the back end to go along with the other big left-hander, I just don't see an issue. I really don't. They've got too many arms down there for it to be an issue.
Okay. All right. That's a fair argument. That's probably how I feel about that argument deep down, because they should, right? They should be better than they've been in September. Right? Yeah. We just talked about it before we came on. You know, they're the glaring weakness in September, a 4.49 earned run average. That's not going to be good enough. So Anthony's a little bit of a question mark.
I think he's a big question mark.
Yeah. I mean, all year. So where do they fit him in? I do agree with the other guys. You know, I would think Soto, Alvarado, and Kimbrel would be good enough. Hoffman's been a really pleasant surprise.
Yes,
he's pitched really well. So, you know, I do see where you can disagree. I'll just play the other side and agree, just because it's been a concern. I'm worried about it. And I'm more worried about Rob Thomson pushing the right buttons, right? I know that it brings 2 topics into one, but you know, that's where my big concern comes down, because last year he couldn't miss, right?
Right.
You know, he couldn't miss. Every button he pushed, he was hitting the right button all the time. This year, and it happens, right? It seems like he doesn't have that same feel he did last year, and maybe he'll get it back. Maybe once his bullpen figures itself out, he can sort of know the roles and who's doing what well. You know, he has been hurt by no Alvarado and no Sir Anthony at times this year. And that's what makes the signings of Kimbrel and Soto so big for this baseball team because, man, we wouldn't probably be in a wild card spot if we didn't have those two guys. Actually, we wouldn't be. So
I can tell
that's
you
the bright
this.
spot.
Hoffman has given him an extra guy down there from the right side. In my opinion, Hoffman's been much better than Sir Anthony. Sir Anthony, to me, is under everything. It doesn't matter how hard you throw. If your fastball doesn't change planes, you're getting hit. It's that simple. And that's all I've seen from him all year long. His inability to locate his fastball and throw his slider for strikes. That, to me, is the big glaring hole down there right now is Sir Anthony.
I couldn't agree more, right? And a guy that I love, too, just has had a weird year through injuries. He threw a lot last year coming off of Tommy John, right? So, a big workload for him and just hasn't seemed to be able to figure it out, right?
Well, he's been used a lot this year. And that, to me, that's all fine and well, as long as he's doing it the proper way. And this is where the Caleb Cotham discussion comes up again. You're talking about a guy that had Tommy John surgery. He is headed right back there if they don't get him on top of the baseball and get his arm up into the correct slot. I mean, when you blow your front side out like he does, they see the baseball throughout the entire delivery. So it does not matter how hard you throw. If they see the ball, they're going to hit it. There has to be some kind of deception when you throw a baseball, whether it's your front side blocking the hitter's view of your arm getting up into release point, or whatever it is, throwing the ball downhill, creating angles. He is not creating any angles at all. And that just leaves a flat baseball left out over the plate to get hit hard.
Yep, and that's what we've been watching,
Yeah.
Right? That's what we've been watching. For people out there chiming in, we're not talking about the starters, right? We're just talking about the bullpen as a whole, okay? Are they the biggest concern? And Mitch disagrees right now because I think he sees what we all see, what they should be, right? And they have been great all year. I mean, this has been their weakest point, right?
Without this bullpen, they are not even in the wild card discussion, and that's just a fact.
Couldn't agree more. Right now, that's why I'll agree. They're the biggest concern right this minute. But 2 weeks ago, the biggest concern was the lineup. 2 weeks before that, the biggest concern we talked about, in August was the pitching, was the starters, right? So we've had, and this is baseball, we've had waves of different spots on this team that are concerns at different points, right? We would love come October that all three of those things that we're talking about are not concerns, because if that's the case, we're probably playing deep into October, right? So you just got to be clicking at the right time. It's weird. It's a weird sport. It's the biggest marathon of all. So, you just got to be clicking at the end. And so it's hard to say like, oh, the bullpen's going to be concerned come postseason time, right? I don't know. Right. Maybe the offense cools down. Maybe they're not hitting as many homers when the weather changes. I don't know. So
I'll tell you what, the way Schwarber and Turner are swinging, we got to give Trey Turner some credit today, because he has finally gotten his barrel back up where it needs to be. And have you noticed it, Tom, how blatant it is? I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy is back to the guy they signed. Now, he's got 24 home runs now, doesn't he?
Yeah. Remember we were wondering how he was going to get to 20?
Yeah. I mean, watching him at the beginning of the year, I didn't think he'd hit 15. But now that he's back to having his barrel back up to where you can drop that bat into the slot, you're seeing Schwarber. Right now, the ball has to look like a beach ball to him, because he's putting swings on baseballs that are unbelievable.
Yeah, and what's funny is, and I agree with him. I don't always agree with my dad. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But he's like, man, I know. He's like, I know he doesn't. His average isn't what you would like. He's like, but man, I don't know if I've seen many players have the plate discipline and the eye that he does. Some of the pitches he lays off, you're like, man, like if fastball counts, right? He's laying off like knee bucklers, right?
Oh yeah,
and he's spitting on them, and you're like, he's got a and I know we don't, we look at average, and I think average is important, but I also think on-base percentage is important. I think they all factor in today, right? I do agree with A-Rod that batting average mattered 100 years ago, and it still matters today. I agree with that, but there's also other ways to look at how you can contribute offensively that doesn't always point out your batting average, right?
He's over 100 walks.
Yeah, that's
well over 100 walks.
It's insane.
So leave him be.
Yeah.
I argued against him hitting in that one hole since we went on the air. I just don't like it. But the fact of the matter is, he produces in that one hole. And anytime you can send a starter to the mound with a 1-0 lead, that's a big thing. And I think that's what Rob Thomson's doing. He's trading. Is he still leading the team in RBIs? I think Schwarber is.
Yes, he is. Yep.
That wasn't the case last year. He hit 46 home runs and drove in 85, I think, right?
Yes, because last year was almost like a solo homer every time.
Right. But I'm not a guy that's going to sit there and take that swing and hit it in a one hole. I'm just not that guy. But it seems to work for this team. So it's hard to argue with it.
Yeah, 94 RBIs leads the team.
He's already got more RBIs this year than he had last year with fewer home runs.
He's got 114 walks. The next closest guy is Harp, right? I mean, nobody's even close to him.
And Harper missed 2 months of the season.
Yeah, he's doubling guys' walks, right? He's doubling it. Like the closest guy at bat wise is Trey, who has 41. Stott has 35, right? So I mean, the guy walks at a ridiculous rate.
But if you were to ask anyone, they would swear that Stott and him would be close in walks. But Stott gets so many 2-out base hits or 2 strike base hits. I don't know if he's still leading the league in that category, but he's a guy that goes up there, wants to swing. Schwarber wants to swing, but he knows what he wants to swing at. And if you happen to throw that pitch, some of the balls he's hit, you look at him, he's not a great big guy. He just generates an ungodly amount of bat speed.
He absolutely does, too. He absolutely does. And talking about Trey, right? Mitch, he's batting in September. He's batting .379, 11 hits, 5 homers, 10 RBIs, 9 runs scored in 7 games this month. Well,
that's the guy you paid $300 million for. That's what a $300 million hitter does. And we have to give him a break because I don't care what anybody says. Well, it didn't take me any time to get used to Philadelphia because when I came into Philly, all I saw was a whole bunch of people just like me, just blue-collar people. Trey had to come in. Look what happened with Castellanos last year. You got to come in and get comfortable in your own skin, in your new uniform, in your new town. And Trey, when they gave him that standing ovation, they showed him what kind of fan base he's playing in front of. And leave it to Philly fans to figure out a way to get their high-dollar guy going.
How about that, too? Right? A lot of stock needs to be put into that. Right?
Absolutely. Look at what they did to Bohm last year. They booed him because he deserved to be booed. He said he hated this effing place, and then he owned it, took it back, and the fans gave him a standing ovation after he remained accountable. And that's all they want in this town. In Philly, they want accountability and everything you have physically that day. It doesn't matter if it's only 60% of your 100%. It better be everything you got on that day.
Yeah, I agree. Walter, real quick, he said, I would think the Braves will rest some players during the series because they clinched. No, they're not. I mean, they're not going to do that because baseball is this thing. Like throughout the rest of the time here, you might see some guys get a couple extra days off in different spots, like throughout the rest of their season. But baseball is not a sport where you really want to be going and giving guys like 14 games off from now until the playoffs. No, because that's too much sitting around. It's a timing game, right? Timing's so important. That's why guys beg for spring training at bats, right? The more spring training at bats, the more guys are comfortable in seeing 99, right? Like if you have little league kid who's seeing 42, yeah, let his body rest, right? But with big league players, they need it. And again, they'll probably mix in days off for different guys throughout the rest of the year, like a load management, air quote.
Well, what the Braves are going to do, and it's what every team that clinches this early does. The guys that are hot are going to keep playing. Guys that are struggling, okay, we need to give him a day off. But are you going to give Trey Turner or Schwarber a day off right now? I would tell both of them, as long as you can pull your pants on, you're playing.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'd have to tell either one of them that, because I don't think right now you could get them out of the lineup. Trey hasn't felt this good since the WBC.
No, that's what we watch, right? And then when the season started, you're like, all right, that's what we're going to get.
Exactly.
Right? That's the guy we're going to get. And in typical baseball fashion, we didn't for a while. And like you said, a simple standing up just to make a guy feel better about himself in a mental game changed everything. And it doesn't always work, but I feel like what you said too, in a city like this where it's rough and tough, when we show that, hey, we got your back in that kind of situation, we get the most out of a player with the talent level that he has. And we have.
I mean, think about this from my point of view. Back in 93, do you think any of us could have struggled the way Trey Turner struggled at the beginning of this year and not been booed? We would have been booed. I got booed on a pitch-to-pitch basis. Ball, boo, strike, yay. I mean, that's just how it was. They're always going to be there. That's what you have to realize as a player in Philadelphia. You don't get those 1,200, 1,400 fans that show up. No, you're going to play in front of 25,000. Even when we sucked in 92, there was 25,000 people a night coming out to boo us. I mean, it was their fun. So this is what Trey is finally realizing, is just how loyal this fan base truly is.
No, you're right. You're right. Guys were just, back then we were going through such bad baseball for a while. I mean, people were just getting out there to clear themselves out, right?
Oh,
they just go out there. This is the way to get off their chest.
Exactly.
And I think in the world we live in now, where people can get that off their chest on social media, right? Allows people to feel like they cleared it, right? Yeah, they can vent it. And now when they go to a game, sometimes you're like, you know what? We should give them a standing up, right? Like, we feel better about it. Let's bring them up, right? And I think the way the world works today, where back then, unless you were calling, the radio station to get it off your chest, you weren't getting anything off your chest really, unless there's some buddies. So it's
only out. Angelo had the only outlet in town basically to call.
Yeah, and you wanted to wait 4 hours to maybe not get on.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people got their tickets. All right, we got to take a quick commercial break. Brought to you by Royal Billiards. Go check them out. They're the best. We'll be back in 30 seconds, and we're going to talk a little bit about, on the other side, has Rob Thomson's magic gone away? We'll be right back.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years, and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, there you have it, royalbilliard.com. Go check them out. Even got hot tubs. For everybody looking for hot tubs. And we also got to give our commercial by Raymond, right? Raymond Transportation. So give us 1 second on that, and we'll be right back to talk about Rob Thomson.
Mitch Williams here. If your company ships freight, join my winning team at Raymond Transportation Corporation. Let us become part of your team. RTC has been serving shippers nationwide for 26 years. With 10 terminals located throughout the U.S., volume LTL, small LTL, truckload, and rail. You can count on RTC to be the closer you need. I know firsthand that the Delaware Valley demands accountability. Call me at 800-206-3983 to schedule a meeting. Give me one shipment, and we will earn the rest. Mitch.
There you have it, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Now I got to do two things at once. We'll bring it back. We're bringing it back. All right, we're back. We're back. Here's the thing with Mitch Williams and Tom Arnone, everybody out there. If you're just joining us, our poll for this afternoon show, despite being a strength most of the season, the Phillies bullpen has now become the team's biggest concern. Do you agree or disagree? Mitch disagreed. I agree to a point, really just to be different, but they've been a concern right now. But I do believe they'll figure it out. I do really believe they'll figure it out. And now we're going to shift to Robbie T. And is his magic gone?
Oh, I don't think it's gone. I think there's a real healthy respect and admiration for him amongst the team here in Philly. I think the guys love him. And that's really the biggest obstacle as a manager. If you can get your team to, number one, respect you, and number two, love you, you're well on your way to a long career as a manager.
No, you're right. You're right to that point. I don't think all his magic's gone. Like I said earlier, right? Like I think he's missed a couple buttons this year, but I mean that's part of the sport too.
Yeah, I don't think those buttons that he's pushing on guys. It's the guys' responsibilities to get outs or to get hits. It's that simple. And when you come to the bullpen, I'm not a big fan of the way he uses the bullpen, but I have to come to grips with the fact that the way it was when I played, that's gone. They've got 9 guys down there. He's got to find innings for all those 9 guys in order for them to stay sharp. That's the big juggling. I think it's made it more difficult on managers today because of that fact. You can't let someone sit down there for 2 weeks and not throw. You have to find guys innings, and there's a lot of times that those innings come in games where you're ahead. And I'm sorry, that can't happen. It's like last night when he brought Strawn in, the left-hander. I wasn't a big fan of that move. I think you go to your left-handed, you got Soto, and you got, why do I always draw a blank on his name? The other big left-hander throws so hard.
Soto, Strom, Alvarado.
I always blank on his name. I should just think about.
I had to think about all the lefties. I had to think about all the lefties for a second. I couldn't believe I couldn't even think of them.
But that situation last night, that game was in the 7th inning. That's not a game where Strom should be in the game. He is a long guy. You don't put a long guy in the 7th inning with a lead. You got a right-hander, a left-hander, and a closer sitting down there. And he has the ability to use any of those 3 guys in a save situation. They all have wipeout stuff. One of the left-handers, either Soto or Alvarado, should have been in that game in the 7th inning. It should not have been Strom.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Like I said, I think some things like bullpen-wise, that's where I was going, was maybe he hasn't hit all the right buttons at different times through the year. I guess you could maybe make some questions about lineups. I don't really get into questioning lineups. I get into like guys going and producing. So I don't really like overly question the lineup too often. But like, I don't know. I don't think it's gone. You know, I don't think it's gone. There might be, like I said, there might be some things that I haven't totally liked, but I don't necessarily believe the magic's gone. I think like you might know the magic's gone if they get knocked out in the first round. All right. Okay. Then maybe there's a little less magic, but I think he's done a pretty good job.
It all comes down to managing all those pitchers. And like I said, the job that comes with that, you have to find them work. You cannot just sit down there in the dugout and go, oh, okay, I'm using these 4 guys. But that's where the game's changed as well, because some guys can't pitch 2 days in a row. No one, I don't believe, throws 3 days in a row anymore. And I just don't understand that. As far as I'm concerned, Alvarado, Soto, and Kimbrel have to be available every single day. There's no excuse for them not being. None of them have been overworked this year. Not even close.
No, you're right.
I mean, I would guess Alvarado might have 40 innings. Soto might have close to 50. That's not a lot of work when you're sitting here in September.
No, it's not. And maybe part of that is hoping to keep guys fresher for come postseason time. I don't know. I don't know the reason behind that, but I've always agreed with you where, throw and get you ready, right? Throw and get you ready.
I threw every day as hard as I could during my career, whether it was off a mound or in the outfield long throwing. I threw the baseball as hard as I could because the more I threw, the more my velocity went up.
Yeah, it makes sense. You get stronger. It's why there are people long tosses. Why there's strength and conditioning for stuff. Like there's no big secret here that you would think throwing makes you stronger, right? It's like anything else. Like you brought it up the first time we ever talked. Like, hey, you walk every day, right? I mean, it stuck with me. Some things will stick with you. And that's like some things are just common sense. Some things are like right in front of you, right?
You think a marathon runner walks out to a marathon course on his first day and runs a marathon? No, he's got to build his body up to do that. Your body will do what you train it to and what you ask of it. It's all a mental thing. When you get into September and October, it's more mental than it is physical. When you walk out on the mound and you don't feel good, Tom House always told me one thing that's stuck with me. I'm 58 years old now. He told me this when I was 17. He said, hitters don't hit how you feel. They hit what they see. And that's how you have to approach it. If you go out there and you make pitches, I don't care if you're missing 4 or 5 miles an hour off your fastball. You can still make pitches with that fastball and get people out. I can't hear you anymore, Tom. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, sorry. It was running and going on. Yeah, like we'll see what happens with the point of Rob Thomson's magic going away here, right? You can't really judge that fully till a season's over. But again,
and you have to look at both sides of the ball too.
Yeah, does the player's magic go away?
His magic is doing a damn good job with the lineup right now. They had 2 games they should have won in that series against the Marlins. So the magic as far as Schwarber, Turner, the rest of Bryce, Nick, these guys are hitting.
Yeah.
And that's more of what I want going into the postseason. The rest of it can be figured out. You got 9 guys in that bullpen. Come the postseason, there's going to be 11 in the first series that are in the bullpen. So what do you do as a manager? You get everyone that needs work now. And everyone that needs a blow, give them a blow. But this is the playoff race. In my opinion, there shouldn't be anybody on this team that needs a blow right now.
No. They got to get ready to go. And like I said, the only thing you can look at is okay, let's see what buttons get pushed come playoff time. But again, those buttons work both ways, right?
And Greg's saying right here, Alvarado missed 6 weeks. Sir Anthony was down for a period. These guys have not thrown many innings.
No, they have not. And I told Greg back if they get Alvarado right, this is a wrap because he's unhittable. He's unhittable. So, we'll see where he ends up with after missing the time and see if he can get back to being as sharp as he was last year. But
I mean, think about it. That guy didn't walk anybody.
Yeah.
From July of last year, I believe, until it was late in April or early in May when he gave up his first walk or a run. He hadn't given up a run. This guy can be lights out when he's healthy. And when he first came back after being hurt, he was not the same guy. His mechanics were different. He wasn't getting all the way up and back with his kick leg. That's all he's got to do. Because where he is effective is throwing the ball downhill. Watch how many cutters he gets guys to swing at that are not strikes. They might start in the strike zone, but because of the depth all his pitches have on them, they can't take them. They can't risk that ball's not going to fall out of the strike zone. They have to offer at it.
No, you're right. His big thing is like you said, if he's in the zone, it's over. He's almost unhittable.
Well, that's the kind of guy when I talk about as a closer, the only strike you have to throw is strike 1. that guy exemplifies just throw strike one. Because if he gets ahead, they're out. Because they have to go after balls that aren't in the zone.
No, you're right. What's that? They're on. Sorry, I didn't realize that we were playing right this second, too.
Oh, the Phillies are on right now?
Yeah, 105 start. 105 start. Charlie Morton, Walker.
Oh, then it's not on here yet. It's only 12 here. We're an hour behind you guys. It'd still be on.
You got time. You'll catch it. You catch it in a little bit. So looking ahead a little bit. I guess it didn't start yet.
No, it's not 1 o'clock yet.
It's 1:30 here. Unless my time's
off. Yeah, it is.
Unless my time's off.
It's 12:30 here. Yeah, you're right.
Let me see.
Maybe they have weather again. Are they at home?
No, they're on. We're on. We're here. We're here. Let's see what inning we're in.
Got to be the first or second.
That's why, because I didn't have any of my alerts on for a second, so I didn't even catch anything that was going on. 1-0 Atlanta. Yeah, top two.
Who's pitching for us today?
Walker.
They have to get through this Braves series, and keep their head above water. They can't lose any more ground in this wild card.
No, they can't. I know Chrome said it was a bad week, but I mean it was really a 500 week. I mean they.
Yeah, but they lost 2 games in the wild card.
Yeah, I mean, you lose the 2 games in Miami. It's not that's no good. I said to him it was a bad weekend. I wouldn't say it was a bad week, right? I mean they went to San Diego, they won 2 out of 3. So I'm not crowning San Diego, but they went on the road, they won 2 out of 3. It's a bad weekend. I don't even look at a bad week. It's a bad weekend. I'm not going to put them all in the one. It's a bad weekend.
It seems like a week when you lose to Miami.
True. Like, again.
Especially when you had 2 leads in that game. Trey Turner hits a bomb to center field. Schwarber, another bomb. He's got 43 home runs already. So the lineup is doing what did you see how they freed up Ranger yesterday? Ranger was out. I mean, Ranger doesn't show much emotion anyway, but he, for 6 innings, completely controlled the bat speed of the Marlins. And then the 7th inning, gave up a hit, and I think he just lost his focus.
Yeah, he was cruising too.
Yeah, he had 6 no-hit innings, and he went out there for the 7th. And I think once he gave up the first hit, I think he had a hard time putting that behind him.
Yeah, I agree. Because what do you have? 10 strikeouts yesterday too.
Oh yeah, it was a career high.
Career high for him. So that's a great sign, right? We'll take that all day. All right, I got to do a couple quick reads here while we're watching.
Go right ahead, brother.
We're watching the Phillies. 2 outs here. Just struck out Rosario. But go check out Royal Billiards. Okay, brand new sponsor for A2D Radio. They're the main sponsor of Dawk Talk. And you can catch Brian Dawkins every other Thursday. So he won't be on this Thursday, but the following Thursday, he'll be back again on Vetted with Hollis and Irvin. So go check him out. But Royal Billiards, go check out Royal Billiards too, and Recreation, the coolest place for all your game room and man cave needs. For the last 41 years, this family-owned business has been the premier game room store of the Delaware Valley, stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bars, and bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, did we mention they have hot tubs too? Stop by Royal Billiard, located at 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, Pennsylvania, or on the web, royalbilliard.com, for everything fun for your home or office. So go check them out.
I love that they have hot tubs.
Yeah, that really sell it for me.
Yeah, because I normally get, at 58, I do get sore after shooting pool, so I guess that would be a good thing.
Or a couple drinks, right? As we get older, we get sore. Just a couple of drinks get us sore. We need to clean. We need to, go get the body loose again. I love a hot tub. I mean, there's not many things better than a hot tub. So
no.
if you're in for a hot tub need, go check out royalbilliard.com, or you're looking for a pool table, ping pong. They have, like I said, shuffleboard, which is awesome, and hats.com. I'm wearing one of hats.com hats right now.
Is that a Kangol hat?
It is a Kangol hat. In 2018, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Dog designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Bowman Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker, on hats.com. Brian's love of hats and the Eagles were on proud display in Canton, and now you can find yourself in that same iconic Hall of Fame fedora. Just go to hats.com and search Brian Dawkins and use the code Philly for 15% off your order. So that's how you get 15% off your order. You can get the same hat Dawkins wore. There you go.
I wear hats. You might want to tell them I wear hats.
Yeah, I got a hat for you. I gotta send that to you too. I got a hat for you. I got a hat for everybody. Got a bunch of hats sitting upstairs. Same.
How
ones.
about them Eagles yesterday, buddy?
Oh, great win. I mean, not a great win, but a win.
How mad were you in that fourth quarter when Hurts fumbled that ball? I thought, oh, this game's over.
I was mad. I was mad then. I was mad for it going on 4th and 2 in that spot. I thought that was a dumb decision, and I love going for it. But like a quarterback like Mac Jones, I'm not going to go for it there. Well,
Mac Jones, he did a good job of everything underneath, but anything deep to me is just an interception. I thought that the Eagles' defense, their front four, played well. Fletcher had a good game.
He did have a good game.
But the rookie, Carter, in the middle, that man's a beast.
He's a problem. He's a big time problem. He really is.
Put him and Jordan Davis next to each other. Now we know why Georgia won the national championship while they were there. And then the linebacker gets hurt. Hopefully it's nothing serious, but he played well yesterday.
Yeah, he's out for a couple weeks now. He was playing well too. I think he's got something with his foot. He's out a few weeks. So
that's not good news.
No, not ideal. Not ideal. But Carter and Davis, their presence was felt yesterday, which is important. So I think offensively they'll get better. Right. Like I think that'll clean itself up.
Anytime you give Belichick a year to prepare for you, it's going to be a tough game. I don't care how good you are. He threw defensive schemes at them yesterday they'd never seen.
He did. I mean, he had 5 months to get ready, too.
Exactly. And that's one guy you don't want to have extra time to break your offensive scheme down, because he will find a weakness. And he did. I thought the first drive when Jalen came out and they were throwing on, did nothing but run with Gainwell and throw to him. I thought that was great. But from then on, they didn't do a whole lot offensively.
No, they didn't.
I mean, think about it. The defense scored. Slay scored. Defense played great. But offensively, I think you have to take that game with a grain of salt. Like I said, you give Belichick enough time, he'll find a way to beat you defensively.
Yeah, even week 1 last year was a little rough offensively for the most part, right?
That was against Detroit,
clean.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't clean, nail biter, snuck out with a win. And I'm gigantic on this in football season. I don't care how they win. Like, I don't care if it's pretty, if it's ugly, it doesn't matter, because you can keep a locker room together and focused way more after wins. It's easier to fix mistakes after wins than it is after losses. It just is. It is.
And number one, when you walk in that locker room after a win, you don't hurt as bad.
No.
That game is violent. That's all there is to it. My son plays it in college. I know it's violent. But when you win, you're not quite as sore as you are after a loss.
No, not even close, right? Not even close. That's a huge point that I never even brought up before. The body feels a lot better. You're walking with a little bit more of a strut to you.
Yeah, you can't wait to go in and watch film when you have a good game or you win. Then it's executing your job. And I thought from the defensive side of the ball yesterday, I thought we did a good job. The front four I just loved. I love watching Jordan Davis and Carter there in the middle. They're not going to be easy to move.
No, they're not. They're not.
Then you got Nolan Smith on the outside with all that speed. He didn't have I think they game planned for him more than they did for the two guys in the middle, because Nolan Smith never got close to the quarterback yesterday that I saw.
No, I don't think he even played that much. But Reddick's the guy I looked at that they game planned more for him. Right?
Oh yeah,
yeah, because like Reddick didn't even get close to the quarterback. Right, he led our team in sacks last year. It looks like they really tried to take him out of the game. And
well, he did end up with a sack, didn't he?
Maybe did he end up with a half a sack? Yesterday he didn't have one. Yesterday it said Jordan Davis and Sweat had a half a sack, and Carter had a full sack. But let me see if they changed.
I think we only had 2 sacks. I swore that Reddick was in on one.
I don't know if they gave it to him. Hold on, let me look again. Let's see if they updated it. They may have updated it since then. Since I looked. Sacks. Davis had a half a sack. Sweat had a half a sack. And Carter had a full sack.
Well, that's going to go up.
QB hits. Brandon Graham, Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, all had QB hits. So.
I thought Fletcher had a pretty good game yesterday. It was
yeah, he did.
It was actually fun to watch. I think those young kids there in the middle are going to make Fletcher try a little harder.
I agree.
He doesn't want to get shown up by a couple of kids.
And here comes Greg. Greg hates when Jake Cave plays. He said, "Oh yeah, another Jake Cave game." After he just got out.
Well, Jake, I don't know why he's in the game.
I don't know either. I don't think Greg does either.
Is he playing right field or left field?
I didn't even look. Hold on. I didn't even look.
He's got to be playing left field. They had to give Schwarber the day off or put him in the DH spot because I don't think he'd take Castellanos defensively out of the lineup. Defensively, Castellanos is a much better outfielder than Schwarber.
Yeah, K's playing left.
Yeah.
K's playing left. But I get it. I mean, listen, Greg, I don't like him playing either, but it is
Charlie Morton's on the mound, so
it is a double header. It is a double header. Like, if it's one game today, I get it. Like, I'm like, all right, dude, what are we doing? Right? But it's a double header. I get it. I get it.
I would hope. I don't know who's throwing the second game for Atlanta. Do you know?
It is. I just looked too. Hold on. I know who's throwing for us. Lorenzen's throwing for us. Let me look again. 640 to be determined. They got to be determined, boy. Where I looked.
So that's going to be a bullpen game. They're going to try and win this first game. The Braves are.
Kyle Wright. Kyle Wright's getting the start.
Well, he's no joke.
According to CBS Sports, Kyle Wright's getting the start. According to MLB.com, it is to be determined. So
Kyle Wright's a right-hander, is he not?
I think he's right-hander.
Yes. I believe he's right-handed.
Yeah.
Well, if it is him, JT has to get one of these 2 games off. So I would look at the numbers he's got against both pitchers, and Stubbs should have started the first game against Morton if JT's numbers are better against Wright. He's not going to catch both ends of the doubleheader.
No.
Rob Thomson just doesn't do that. But at this time of year, I promise you wouldn't have been able to get Dutch from behind the plate.
No, it's probably hard to get him from behind the plate too today, I'm sure. Sure it wasn't easy with him either. He seems to be similar to that style where he wants to play every day, right? He seems similar to that style.
Well,
I guess
Greg is saying no Rojas again. Well, Rojas is not going to play center field when there's a right-hander on the mound. I just don't see that happening very often. He's an outstanding defensive center fielder, but let's be honest, Rojas's bat jumps off the ball.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I've been really happy with Rojas.
That was a joke, Tom. The ball jumps off a bat. Well, his bat jumps off the ball.
I didn't even hear that one. I didn't even hear it.
He's not going to do a whole lot of damage at the plate, but
no.
What he makes up for is in the outfield covering ground.
No, he absolutely does. He absolutely does.
Stubbs is playing game 1.
Yeah, I would hope he would get better.
Thanks,
at
Greg.
The plate. I would hope he would get better at the plate as time goes on, right?
Well,
For sure.
He's a kid when you look at him. He don't look like he's done growing. He doesn't look like he's a man yet. He still looks like a young kid. And hopefully he's going to fill out. I would imagine he'll fill out some. But I don't think he's a kid that's in his late 20s.
No.
I could be real
No,
wrong
he's
about
young.
that.
He's young. Greg, what is he? Greg knows what he is. He's in his early 20s. I know that for sure. Oh, he's a young guy.
Well,
Oh,
once
is that
you turn
down? Are you kidding me?
What happened?
2-0. Of course, the little blooper in the Bermuda Triangle over first and right field falls in for a hit. Nobody was going to get to it. It was just, of course, Michael Harris doubled, and then a little flare job by Acuna, who just
Finds a way to beat
finds
people.
spots. I mean, I can't believe where that landed too. Unbelievable. But yeah, 2-0 Braves. So not the start we wanted. Definitely not the start we wanted.
Nope.
Not even a little bit, right, Greg? I hear you. Not the start we wanted. All right,
But
we
the
got
one thing about this team is they do
Yeah.
battle. If you can keep this team within 3 runs going into the last 3 innings, you got a chance.
Are we sure, Greg, that he's 23? We've had our issues with you and Google in the past. Are we sure, Greg? Are we sure he's 23? You told us Jordan Davis was 30 on draft night. Mitch wasn't around for that one. But,
Jordan
yeah.
Davis is 30.
He's like 25 or something on draft night. So it became a whole running joke with Greg. All right, we got to take a quick time out. Continue, come back, talking fightings. Obviously, we got a live game on. We don't get that too often, so we'll talk a little bit about that as we get through the last 15 minutes of the show, and we'll talk to you guys, whatever everybody out there wants to talk about. So this is Here's the Thing with Mitch Williams, Tom Arnone, and we will be right back.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
And fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
Welcome back. Here's the Thing with Mitch Williams, Tom Arnone, talking fightings. Down 2-0 early. I think Acuna just stole 2 bases. Are you kidding me? He just got the third. We just took a 30-second commercial break. The guy's already on third. How did he get third? Hold on. Stubbs overthrows. Yep. Stubby overthrew Stott or Turner. Sorry, overthrew Turner. And they just hold the baseball with him running, man. There's nothing good's going to come out of it. You ain't throwing him out. You are not throwing him out.
Yeah, you are. Stubby can throw. He ain't the biggest dude in the world, but he's got a good arm.
You think he's throwing him out? You didn't see the jump. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. He got a monster jump. I think he's almost got 60 stolen bases already.
And Taiwan ain't the quickest dude to home plate.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, you ain't throwing him out. Just hold the baseball there. No, I love I mean, I'm aggressive, so I don't, whatever. But we got lucky. Albie's got out, popped up the boom. So now you deal with Austin Riley with 2 outs, though. Runner on third. Yeah.
Austin Riley. I mean, I don't want to piss anyone off in the Delaware Valley or Bryce, but the year Bryce won the MVP,
yeah,
I really thought Austin Riley should have won it.
I agree.
The numbers Riley put up were I mean, Bryce's numbers were outstanding, but he did it for a non-playoff team.
Very true.
See what I'm saying?
It matters. That matters.
Austin Riley did it for a playoff team.
What year are we talking about? 2021, right?
21, yeah. Compare their numbers and tell me what you think. I mean, Bryce's OPS was over 1,000, I think.
Yeah, his OPS was not.
But Austin Riley had over 100 RBIs, hit over 300. That's the guy, in my opinion. It's like I have a hard time voting for a guy for most valuable player when it didn't change his team's outcome. If his team still went home at the end of September, how valuable was he? Now, you take Austin Riley out of that Braves lineup in 21, they ain't going to the postseason.
No, and he just struck out, which is nice.
Beautiful. See, I talk nice about people and they punch out.
And that's how it works. Hold on, I'm pulling them up side by side here. Okay. And in 21, Harper had 35 homers, batted 309, had an OPS of over 1,000, like he said. 84 RBI. So his RBI numbers were low.
Look at Riley's.
He walked 100 times. So Riley in 21 hit 33 homers, 107 RBIs, batted 303, and an OPS of 898.
Bryce's numbers, it had the Phillies won or made it to the postseason, I would have had no issue with it. And I don't have an issue with Bryce winning the MVP at all. I just thought in that situation, a guy playing third base every day for the Atlanta Braves puts up those numbers for a team that is going on and deep in the playoffs. I thought Riley should have won it.
Yeah, I agree with you because I'm a big believer in that most valuable player. I guess, and this is just a guess, because all Harper's numbers are better besides the RBIs, right? So more doubles, more homers, more doubled his walk total, right? So Riley walked 52 times, Harper walked 100.
Well, and the way I've always viewed that, go back to the years when Miguel Cabrera and Mike Trout were battling for MVP. You take Mike Trout out of that Angel lineup, they can still finish third or fourth. You take Miggy out of their lineup in Detroit, they weren't going to the postseason, period.
No.
That's how I decide value, is a guy that puts you over the top.
I agree with you completely.
No matter what Bryce did in 21, he couldn't put that Phillies team over the top. They were just too short in too many areas.
I was like the guy who was like not running around Broad Street all excited that he won MVP. I was like, what does that do for me? Another year we're not in the playoffs. So what does that do for me? You know what I mean?
That's how I've always viewed it. If you take that guy out of the lineup, does it affect where they finish in the standings? Well, you take Bryce out of the lineup that year, where are they going to finish? Third or fourth? Same thing with Trout and Miggy. You have to compare the teams and where they are at in the standings, in my opinion. Now, if you want to give Bryce the Silver Slugger, give him a Silver Slugger. But valuable. If you take the guy off the team, that team ain't the same team. And that's just how I look at it. Can they finish in third or fourth place without Bryce? My opinion, they could. But they ain't going to finish in first place without Bryce.
No shot. No shot at all.
They wouldn't be a postseason team without Bryce. So that, to me, shows the value. To me, he's more valuable today than he was back in 21 because the team has a chance to go to the postseason.
I want to look up one more player, too, while I'm doing this in 21 for the Braves.
Freddie?
Yeah, I mean, Freddie had a...
Oh, wait, Freddie in L.A. in 21?
No, he's still in Atlanta.
Yeah, he went to L.A. in 22, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he batted. I mean, again, his numbers are real similar to Riley's and Harper's. So, I mean, no really gripes. But
if you take either one of those two guys out of that lineup, Atlanta wouldn't have been a postseason team.
No, and it sure as heck weren't going to go win the whole thing.
Nope.
So
that's how you establish value, in my opinion.
I agree. I completely agree. Couldn't agree with you more on that. I don't think enough people do that, right? I don't think enough people, out there look at it that way.
It's like Ohtani. Ohtani should walk away with the MVP. But let's be honest, the Angels aren't doing shit. So how much value does he have? He has value to Artie Moreno, the owner, because he's putting asses in the seats. But to the game of baseball, how much value is Ohtani when he doesn't change where the Angels finish in the division?
Did he get that? Did he get it? Oh, sorry, Mitch. Turner flies out to the warning track and right because Acuna looked back. His original look was look back. That ball got blown back in again.
Yeah.
I watched that happen last night a couple times, but that ball got blown back in because it looked like he hit it out. Acuna looks like it's going over his head and then finds it.
I'll tell you what, that ball Schwarber hit yesterday wasn't good. Any question about that one? Soon as he dropped the bat, I said, that one's going far.
There's so much power. So now Harper's up with 2 outs.
Nobody on.
Schwarber singled, but another Bermuda Triangle over Riley's head.
That's all you need. A little
Low
duck
blue.
far to left.
Harper's up. 2 outs. 1 on. Phillies down 2-0 here in the third.
You know what they call Charlie Morton is what a hitter would call a comfortable 0 for 4.
Yeah.
Because you ain't worried about getting hit. He ain't going to blow you away. He just knows how to pitch. When this guy came back, I forget where he was with. I think he was in Pittsburgh. And he completely reinvented his mechanics, everything to look like Doc Halladay.
He really did.
I mean, it was unbelievable how identical their mechanics became because Doc at that time was dominating. And it completely turned Charlie's career around.
No, when you look at it, they're really similar, and you're right. He really did he reinvented himself.
Absolutely reinvented himself.
You know, another guy did that, was here for a minute. A guy like Jake Arrieta reinvented himself. There's, which is I actually like those types of stories.
Is he back in baseball? Is he in baseball?
Nah.
How do you go from winning Cy Young and now you're out of the game?
Yeah, well, he went from stinking to being awesome for a few years to stinking again. So he was like
I remember him as a long man in Baltimore.
Yeah, that's where he started. Yep. Wasn't good enough.
And then out of nowhere, he wins a Cy Young.
Yeah, he talked about moving on the mound. That's what he talked about, which is interesting.
Well, there's a lot of guys that don't know that you can create angles by where you stand on that rubber. I have never understood a left-hander that stands on the right-hand side. I never got that. If you can't, you move a baseball with your nose. If you can't, you drive your nose to the spot you want the ball. So where you are on the rubber, all that does, for me, it made it look like the ball was coming from behind the left-handed hitter. And for a right-handed hitter, because I stayed close so long and threw across my body and I'm all the way over on that side of the mound, they couldn't pick the ball up. Right-handers couldn't see the ball until it was on them. Miggy had one of the best statements I ever heard. Chris Sale threw across his body. He was left-handed. Miggy said the best thing he's ever done for me is throw me his breaking ball because I can't see his fastball. I mean, Chris Sale was one of those guys that got up there 97, 98 from the left side, but he hit it so bad it might as well have been 208 miles an hour because they're not seeing it until it's halfway home.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's a point not talked about enough either. Oh, did he
You
get
have
it?
to create angles, whether in and out or up and down. You have to create angles.
Harper going to score here? Yes, he did. 2-2.
How did
Harper walked. Boom hit a 2-run double.
Beautiful.
Phillies tied it 2.
That's the guy I want to get hot is Bohm. If you get all Bohm, Turner, Schwarber, Harper, Realmuto, if all those guys get hot at the same time, there's going to be some major runs put up on the board.
Oh man, I mean, if we could get all them hot at the going into the postseason, it's lights out time.
I mean, we're sitting here. What? This is September 11th, and Schwarber has 43 home runs. He's going to hit more home runs this year than he did last year.
No, you're right. You got more RBIs, more everything. We're in a better spot.
Look at it. It wouldn't surprise me if Turner got to 30. And I would have bet, I've got 5 kids, I'd have bet all of them that there's no way he'd get to 30 this year.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just the kind of player he is. I'm so glad he got that barrel lag fixed because that was all it was.
No, you're right. It was.
Now,
it was
if we
little.
can get JT to consistently step to the ball and get square, he's a dangerous hitter.
That's the one we need to get hot. You know, that's the one we need to get going, and hopefully he starts to get himself going here as the year winds down. Because we not only do we need to get into the postseason, we need to win games. Right?
Yep.
We didn't lock anything up, so we got games to still win here.
You ain't kidding. How many games they got left? We're on the 11th. They probably have, I would say, 2 more days off would be my guess the rest of the year. So that might be 13th. So they would have 17 games left. What's their record? Oh, I can tell you. I had it pulled up.
They are 78-64.
12, 142. They got 20 games left.
And hold a 4-game lead to get in. So you got to collapse on yourself.
They only hold a 2-game lead over the second wild card team.
Over the second wild card, yep. So you gotta shit on yourself to not get in. Per se.
Well, they lost. Think about this, though, Tom. Going into that 6-game span, the Padres and the Marlins, the Phillies lost 2 games in the wild card. They were up 5 games over the team chasing them before the week started, and now they're down to 2.
You're right. They got to play.
It went from 4.5 last week to they went and played decent baseball and got it to a 5-game lead. Now they've given 3 of those games back. And that's just something right now in September, you don't want to be giving games back. All you want to do is take games off the schedule and do it with wins.
No, you're right. They gotta win baseball games. And this is a huge 4-game set, right? This is a huge 4-game set. And I don't even want to say split, it's not even good enough, right? It's not terrible, but I'd love to find a way. Love to find a way to get 3 out of 4 from the Atlanta Braves.
You have to find a way to show the Braves that you can do to them in the postseason what you did to them last year.
Yeah.
If you don't put any fear in those guys, and maybe that's a good thing. I think the Phillies snuck up on everyone last year. I don't think the Braves thought they were going to have a problem in the world beating the Phillies in the postseason. Well, guess what?
You're right. Yeah, you had a problem. Houston, you had a little problem.
Everyone else stinks, says Greg's. 7 versus the Mets, 3 versus St. Louis, 3 versus Pittsburgh. We can't beat the Mets.
True.
And that's what people have to realize. The Phillies have got to get over that deal where they can't beat the Mets. If they don't, they might find themselves on the outside looking in.
Yep. Got to. Just because it's easy. They got to go take care of business here to wrap it up. We're going to wrap up today. It was another great show. We'll see everybody next Monday. Same time, same place. Hopefully the Phillies can find the way to win game 1 here, the doubleheader. Versus the Braves, going top 4, tied at 2. And another one tonight, 6:20 start. Might be 6:40, but 6:20, 6:40, right around there. And then obviously 2 more games after that in this series. So let's win games, Mitch. Let's win games.
That's all they need to do. Win games. You got 20 games left to take off the schedule with a 4-game lead for the second wild card spot. If I'm them, that's all I'm looking to do. I want to win games and take them off the schedule. That's all you're doing.
That's it. You're right. All right. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe, follow if you haven't. That's Mitch Williams. I'm Tom Arnone. This has been Here's the Thing, only on HUD Radio. We are brought to you by Royal Billiard. Find all your game room or man cave needs at royalbilliard.com. Even have hot tubs. I'm wearing one of hat.com's hats right now. You can go get yourself Brian Dawkins Hall of Fame fedora. Go to hats.com, search Brian Dawkins, and use the code Philly for 15% off your order. We thank you all. We appreciate you all. Go Phillies. Go Eagles.
Have a great week.
Have a great week, everybody. See y'all soon.
You got it, brother.